A mysterious house full of secrets, whispers of a shadow in the mirror, and troubled minds from a sanitarium. These are the stories I'm going to share with you. So, get comfortable, put on your headphones, and close your eyes. You're in the Creepy Diaries. Daniel McAllister was a historian passionate about mysteries and legends, an unwavering scholar of the supernatural. His curiosity always led him to explore intriguing stories, but there was one, in particular, that fascinated him more than any other: the Winchester Mansion. The house's reputation was legendary, steeped in rumors of hauntings and inexplicable mysteries. When the opportunity arose to work in the recently discovered secret room of the mansion, Daniel saw a chance to unravel the buried secrets within those imposing and intricate walls. With his backpack filled with notebooks, pens, and a slight flutter in his stomach, he arrived at the majestic entrance of the Winchester Mansion. The building stood imposingly before him, its Gothic windows seeming like curious eyes observing every movement. Daniel knew the task would be challenging, but he had yearned for this opportunity for years. Entering the shadowy corridors of the legendary house was like diving into a sea of enigmas and stories intertwined with the supernatural. The legends about Sarah Winchester's obsession and her encounters with spirits haunted him, fueling Daniel's imagination. As he entered the mansion gates and met his team, he felt a strange vibration, a shiver running down his spine. The mission to explore the secret room was about to begin, but Daniel had the feeling that this experience would be more than just a simple historical research. It was as if the house was eager to reveal its secrets, as if the echoes of the past were patiently waiting for someone who could comprehend their intertwined tales. With every step towards the secret room, Daniel's heart beat faster. He could hardly wait to uncover the hidden mysteries within those walls, and perhaps, who knows, find a truth that could make sense of the legendary story of the Winchester Mansion. Daniel, immersed in his research at the Winchester Mansion, spent days examining the artifacts and documents found in the secret room. Among the items, he discovered an ancient diary believed to belong to Sarah Winchester, the enigmatic figure behind the labyrinthine construction of the house. The diary contained detailed accounts of Sarah's encounters with spirits and her anxieties. It described how she felt pursued by tormented souls haunted by Winchester firearms. Each page revealed a world of restlessness and obsession that consumed her. As Daniel delved into the accounts, he began to feel a subtle presence around him. Shadows moved in the corners, inexplicable noises echoed through the corridors, and a sense of being watched became increasingly palpable. One night, while examining an ancient medallion that had belonged to Sarah, something extraordinary happened. A soft glow began emanating from the medallion, illuminating a hidden passage behind a wall. Driven by curiosity, Daniel decided to explore the passage. The narrow corridor led him to a mysterious room adorned with enigmatic symbols. And there, before his incredulous eyes, an ethereal figure began materializing slowly. It was Sarah Winchester in an ethereal apparition, appearing to be caught between the world of the living and the dead. She murmured indistinct words and reached out towards the medallion that Daniel held. Feeling a strange connection to the moment, Daniel handed the medallion to Sarah. The figure seemed to calm down and gradually faded into the air. With her departure, a sense of peace began spreading through the secret room and the adjacent corridors. In the following days, the atmosphere in the mansion changed. Daniel continued his work, but the disturbing whispers and shadows vanished. Sarah's diary, which had been found, disappeared mysteriously, but Daniel felt that he and the house had found some kind of liberation. The Winchester Mansion seemed to have quieted down, as if the charged energy of centuries of stories and afflictions had finally found an end. And as Daniel concluded his work in the house, he felt that he had not only unraveled the mysteries of the construction, but also brought peace to the spirits haunting those dark corridors. As Daniel concluded his days at the Winchester Mansion, he felt at peace. The corridors that had previously echoed with murmurs and disturbing shadows were now serene, filled only with the gentle whisper of the wind passing through the Gothic windows. Sarah Winchester's diary had disappeared, taking with it the distressing accounts of a woman tormented by visions and supernatural encounters. But Daniel felt that his impact there would not be easily forgotten. Each catalogued artifact, each explored mystery, all seemed to have brought some kind of closure. The ethereal figure of Sarah, to whom he had given the medallion, had disappeared like a gentle breeze, dissipating the tensions and anxieties that had inhabited the house. As he bid farewell to the team and walked away from the Winchester Mansion, he glanced back one last time. The sun was setting on the horizon, bathing the mansion in golden hues. It was as if the house, with its tortuous and intriguing history, had finally found peace. Daniel carried with him the feeling of having done something more than just studying the past. He felt that he had helped bring some sort of resolution to that story, offering a silent farewell to the spirits that had seemed to wander the corridors for so long. As he closed the gates of the Winchester Mansion, a sense of gratitude washed over him. He knew that there, among those centuries-old walls, he had found something much more valuable than answers to historical puzzles. He had touched the essence of a long-told story and perhaps, in some way, had helped bring peace to a place marked by centuries of legends and afflictions. And thus, as Daniel departed, he believed that the Winchester Mansion would no longer be just an icon of mystery and haunting, but a place where the past had finally found its rest. In the peaceful town of Westdale stood an ancient house shrouded in mystery. Its faded facade and neglected garden hid intricate secrets, but none were as intriguing as the imposing mirror in the back room. Passed down through generations, that mirror seemed to hold more than mere reflected images. Rumors about the mirror's dark origin echoed through the narrow alleys of the town. It was said to have been crafted in time immemorial, carved by unknown hands and enchanted by hidden energy. Some claimed it was a portal to another world, while others believed it harbored a supernatural entity thirsting for unsuspecting souls. The house had remained empty for decades, after the family that lived there disappeared without a trace. Only the mirror, hanging on the wall, remained as a silent witness to the events that had occurred in that enigmatic place. The residents, although curious, kept their distance, avoiding facing that object that seemed to have a life of its own. Thus, the mystery of the mirror persisted, awaiting those bold enough to unravel its dark secrets. As the story of the mirror spread, bizarre reports emerged about its distorted reflections. Witnesses claimed to have witnessed disturbing visions within the depths of the mirror. Pale and disfigured faces seemed to look back, not reflecting the reality in front of them, but rather a twisted and sinister version. The abandoned house became a source of speculation and fear among the locals. Curious and skeptical individuals sought to confront the mystery, but most hesitated to approach the mirror. Those who dared to stare at it were overcome by a chilling sensation that ran down their spines, as if something malevolent resided beyond the glass. Reports of strange manifestations grew in number and intensity. Some claimed to have seen movements within the mirror, even when no one stood before it. Shadows danced on the surface, contorting into shapes that defied human logic. Even photographs taken in its presence revealed inexplicable distortions, as if a hidden presence sought to emerge beyond the reflective surface. The mirror became a disquieting enigma, its mere presence evoking a profound sense of discomfort. The mystery loomed over it, challenging the boundaries of the known and plunging the curious into a spiral of doubt and fear. Over time, the enigmatic aura of the ancient mirror extended beyond the abandoned house. The story of the mysterious artifact spread like wildfire, reaching the far corners of the town of Westdale. The curious and seekers of the supernatural converged upon the property, fueling the growing unease that settled in the community. The mirror became the focus of paranormal investigations, attracting enthusiasts and experts in inexplicable phenomena. Each visit to the abandoned house resulted in more disturbing reports. Those who ventured to explore the back room witnessed inexplicable phenomena. Unintelligible whispers echoed in the air, shivers ran down the spines of anyone who dared to approach the mirror, and a sense of oppression hung in the atmosphere, as if time itself bowed before that ancient artifact. Rumors about the origin of the vanished family associated with the mirror took on increasingly sinister tones. Some said they had succumbed to insanity after staring at the reflection for too long, while others suspected supernatural forces that had dragged them beyond the known reality. The atmosphere in the town transformed, laden with tension and apprehension. The inhabitants began to avoid the area around the house, fearful of the sinister energies that seemed to spread like a plague. The growing unease was palpable, and the shadow of the ancient mirror extended beyond the property, enveloping the entire city in its veil of mystery and terror. On a dense and foggy night, a group of daring individuals decided to confront the mystery of the mirror head-on. Equipped with cameras, recorders, and an unstable courage, they ventured into the dark corridors of the abandoned house. Determined to unravel the enigma surrounding the mirror, they positioned themselves before the mysterious object. As the hours passed that night, an oppressive atmosphere seemed to intensify in the house. Indistinct whispers echoed through the walls, and a chilling and sinister sensation filled the air. The investigators, nervous and anxious, focused their cameras on the mirror, hoping to capture any supernatural movement that defied logic. Then, at the peak of tension, the reflection in the mirror distorted alarmingly. Obscene images danced on the glass surface, contorting into indescribable forms. A collective shiver ran through the group when a sinister shadow emerged, seeming to move independently of what was happening in the real world. Amidst the chaos, a deafening roar echoed through the house, causing the ancient structures to tremble. The mirror, a source of mystery and fear, shattered violently. A wave of dark and uncontrollable energy burst forth from the center of the mirror towards the investigators, engulfing the surroundings in a spiral of darkness. For a brief moment, everything seemed to cease. When the dense mist of the event dissipated, the investigators realized that something had changed. They were back in the room of the abandoned house, but something didn't feel right. They looked around confused, only to discover that now they were the ones trapped on the other side of the mirror, condemned to reflect forever in that supernatural world they had tried to unravel. As the realization of their situation solidified, panic engulfed the investigators. They pounded on the limits of the glass, trying desperately to return to the real world, but it was in vain. The surface of the mirror now reflected their distressed faces, imprisoned in that supernatural plane. Those who dared to challenge the mystery of the mirror found themselves victims of a twisted and cruel fate. The group realized that they not only witnessed the horror, but were now part of it. The wide-eyed reflections in the glass stared at their own distorted existence, condemned to an eternity of reflection, merging with the legend they attempted to decipher. However, the final blow was yet to come. As they desperately tried to comprehend their new condition, a ghostly whisper filled the room, echoing from somewhere beyond the mirror. A sibilant voice, charged with an ancestral energy, proclaimed a disturbing revelation. The true nature of the mirror was not to be a mere portal, but rather a voracious observer that devoured souls thirsty to uncover its secrets. Thus, the legend of the cursed mirror would persist in the town of Westdale. The investigators, trapped in the reflective prison, were now part of the very legend they attempted to decipher. The enigma of the mirror persisted, a secret guarded by a sinister artifact that consumed those who dared to defy it, imprisoning them within its reflective surface for all eternity. In the depths of a barren landscape, the Bannister Sanatorium rose imposingly, its towers stretching like pale fingers towards the sky. Once revered as a beacon of hope for tormented souls, this bastion of mental healing had, over time, transformed from a refuge into a stage of desolation. Its weathered walls bore witness to nefarious secrets and unspeakable agony. Nightfall heightened the already somber atmosphere, shrouding it in an aura of mystery. The moon, hesitant to illuminate the blackened corridors, allowed shadows to dance in every corner like eager specters yearning to tell their unresolved stories. The sanatorium, once brimming with promises of healing and redemption, had become the home of tormented memories within faded walls and labyrinthine halls, where decay and melancholy intertwined to form the macabre stage for tales of terror and suspense. Within the forgotten corridors, a mournful echo reverberated, a lament trapped within the very essence of the place. Doors creaked at the slightest breath of wind, as if the spirits of those who suffered there still sought an escape from their eternal pains. Each empty room held traces of the past, silent witnesses to the torments that once unfolded there. Scribbled letters with disjointed words, disturbing drawings on the walls, and records of brutal treatments, compassed a canvas of human despair. The laments were not just confined to physical noises, they were also the anguished sighs of souls trapped in limbo between what was and what could have been. As night deepened, the whispers intensified, as if pleading for someone to finally understand their untold stories, their silenced agonies. Thus, with each step, the suffocating presence of the past materialized, echoing a shadowy plea challenging any visitor to ignore the bitter legacy that Bannister Sanatorium embraced. On a night cloaked in sepulchral silence, a fearless group of explorers ventured through the rusted gates of the Bannister Sanatorium, eager to unravel its hidden mysteries. The dense, oppressive darkness welcomed them like a chilling cloak, concealing the imminent dangers that awaited. As they navigated the labyrinthine corridors, shadows seemed to ride, gaining a life of their own. Indistinct murmurs echoed off the walls, whispering forgotten names and fragmented tales of pain and despair. A mounting sense of unease enveloped them, testing their brave minds with visceral fear. Then, at the peak of tension, the group's leader found herself isolated in a shadowy corridor where the shadows seemed to converge, forming an impenetrable web around her. The air thickened, saturated with the suffocating presence of the unknown. Whispers turned into shrill voices, echoing the leader's deepest fears, as if the shadows had gained the ability to read her innermost anguish. Each step was a battle against a twisting darkness that sought to engulf her. Her heart raced erratically, her body paralyzed by escalating terror. The shadows, increasingly tangible, seemed to want to drag her into an unknown abyss, where reality and madness intertwined in a macabre dance. At the height of terror, the leader found herself on the verge of collapse, at a moment when the line between sanity and darkness was thinner than ever. The climax of tension reached its zenith as she confronted the very nature of fear and hopelessness, feeling on the brink of being consumed by the ravenous shadows that surrounded her. In the throes of agony, as the leader felt she was on the verge of collapse, a distant beam of light pierced the dense darkness. It was as if a timid beacon reached out a hand to rescue her from the looming abyss. The light expanded, dissolving the voracious shadows that surrounded her. The distorted figures and agonizing murmurs gradually disappeared, dissipating into the gloom. It was as if the darkness itself retreated in the face of the pure and simple force of light. With a muffled scream of terror, the leader ran toward salvation, chasing the lantern that now revealed itself as her sole hope. Every step was a desperate escape, distancing herself from the clutches of that sinister dance that had nearly consumed her. Emerging from the oppressive darkness, the leader gasped for breath, her heart hammering in her chest. The Bannister Sanatorium stood there, imposing and enigmatic, but she had escaped the relentless embrace of the shadows. The group gathered outside, panting and trembling, while the leader, still reeling from the encounter with absolute terror, looked back one last time. The Bannister Sanatorium remained immersed in darkness, a silent testament to what lurked behind its weathered facade. And so, the group departed, leaving behind the echoes of lamentation and the dance of shadows. The Bannister Sanatorium remained a somber monument, a reliquary of hidden horrors, a permanent reminder of the finite nature of human sanity, in the face of the mysteries that lurk in the depths of abandonment and the unknown. The lantern light became a symbol of salvation against the shadows that haunted that place, a vivid reminder of that night where the line between reality and darkness was challenged to its thinnest limit. And that brings us to the end of our spine-chilling tale. Did it send shivers down your spine? If you found yourself captivated by this story, please show your support by hitting that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement is incredibly valuable, and it guides us in creating content that resonates with you. If these tales of the paranormal intrigue you, let me know. Your enthusiasm could lead to more eerie and mysterious stories being featured on our channel. So, don't hold back, let your voice be heard and be a part of our community's journey into the unknown. As we close this chapter, remember, there are countless more mysteries to explore and stories to be told. Keep watching, because our adventure into the paranormal world is far from over.